Well, hello world. I've been out and done a comparison of my Olympus PL3 and my Olympus XZ1 cameras. I didn't do sunrise because I overslept, but I went down to Rock-a-Nore with my friend. We did kind of sunsetty kind of pictures. We weren't in exactly the right place for sunset, but we still got some nice light anyway. I took all of these pictures. I tried to do similar pictures on both cameras, and in all cases you'll see the PL3s first, followed by the XZ1s. Okay, so here we go. This is a view of the sea looking out towards Rock-a-Nore itself in Hastings. Okay, what strikes me about this PL3 version here is the detail in the rocks here. Okay, this is taken at f11. The XZ1 can only go down to f8. Okay, but as you can see, that's taken a little while to focus there, but as you can see, the detailing is slightly smudged. Okay, this was taken at f8. Okay, for most of the other ones I did try and use similar settings. I don't quite know why I decided not to do f8 on the PL3 there. Okay, we have slight color changes as well. Okay, this is a more natural effect here. Okay, this is slightly warmer, slightly pinker. Doesn't have quite the same bite to it. This is Hayley and her dog. Okay, PL3 version. Her face and the dog's face are nicely exposed, nicely sharp. The highlights in the background are way overexposed, but that's, I suppose, only to be expected. I was shooting towards the light. Cameras have a tendency to underexpose when you point towards the light because they're thinking, blimey, best stop down a little bit and underexpose a bit, which is what the XZ1 has done. Okay, and Hayley is quite badly underexposed there. Okay, we've still, you see, the PL3 has still managed to get her white top looking white as well. Okay, it's slightly pink here. Okay, neither camera here gave me exactly what I wanted, which was in focus chain and slightly defocused pebbles. This is the PL3s. The XZ1 has got the whole lot in focus here with defocused pebbles. The problem, as I see it, is not so much with the PL3 in this picture here, but it's with the kit lens that comes with it, which has at its minimum zoom of 28mm, that's the 35mm film equivalent there, but at its minimum zoom of 28mm, its maximum aperture is only f3.5, okay, and at its maximum zoom, which is 84mm, we're at f5.6, and there is no micro four thirds lens available at the moment which gives you a faster lens, i.e. one with wider apertures at minimum and maximum zoom. Okay, the one that comes with the newer EP cameras and the OMD is f6.3 at its maximum zoom end, and 3.5 at its minimum zoom, which is you know, I think really they ought to try and make a faster lens really for a standard zoom at any rate. Okay, they have got some pretty fast prime lenses, but not the zoom lenses, which is a shame. yeah, I'm going to have to get my old normal 4/3 lenses out and get an adapter for my EPL3 so that I can use my faster 14 to 54 or 28 to 108 in 35mm terms, which is a much faster lens. I might be able to get some depth of field, or at least get the depth of field effects that I wanted. Okay, here's a view of the East Cliff here. This is the EPL3's version, and how that boat just bites at you. It looks like it's going to move and come towards you. Okay, it's still quite biting really in the XZ1's picture. That's not a bad attempt. Again, slightly over warm. Okay, and the details don't quite jump at you in the way that the EPL3s do. Okay, this, now I've got a series of 4 pictures here. Okay, this is the EPL3's version of what I call boat in focus. Okay, I wanted to get the boat in focus and the bag out of focus, but again, the depth of field issues with the kit lens, I think, stopped me doing that really. Okay, this is the XZ1's approach here. The XZ1 is a non-interchangeable lens compact camera with a slightly larger sensor than most compact cameras, and as you can see, it doesn't do a bad job at all of taking photographs, but it just ain't as large as the EPL3s or any of the mirrorless pen range of Olympus cameras, which have their DSLR size sensor in them, which is called the 4/3 sensor. Okay. This is what I hoped would be bag in focus, boat out of focus. Okay, it's slightly worked, but it's not quite what I wanted. Okay, and neither is it on the Olympuses. Okay, on the XZ1s. Okay, the XZ1 here is suffering because of that small sensor. No small sensor will give you sort of this kind of defocused effect. At least it won't give it to you at will. Anyway, I've got some not bad results with it, but yeah, it wasn't working for me there. Okay, here's a detail of the fishing boat here. Okay, lovely smooth detail here, and also we have some white. Okay, we've got a bluey whiteness here, a bit like that washing powder that they used to say had a bluey whiteness that I really liked. Well, yeah, okay. Although in this picture there's a certain amount of purple fringing. Okay, if we go to this rope, that's the colour of the rope. Okay, the closer we get to the sky, the purpler the edge gets. Okay, it's not an uncommon problem with lenses, and it is the lens again. Okay, when you're focusing on high contrast subjects. Okay, it's only slightly less noticeable in the XZ1s because the whole thing has been rendered slightly purpley. Okay, slightly purpley bluey. Okay, but it's still there. Okay, and again, it doesn't have quite the same impact as the larger sensor does. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, this is the EPL3. Okay, and as you can see, that is just bitingly sharp and detailed, and again, you know, it just got real bite and oomph to it. Doesn't have quite the same impact on the XZ1. Okay, and you know, it almost doesn't look sharp compared to the XZ1s, but it is sharp, as you can see. Okay, talking of sharpness issues, the EPL3's ISO range is from 200 to something in the tens of thousands. I think it's 25,600, I think. No, it isn't. It's 12,800. At which I think you'd be a bit bonkers to shoot. Um, but yeah, this is 200. So I set the XZ1 also to 200 as well. Okay. Snooks, where am I looking? Okay. Yeah. Okay. This then is the moon and a detail of a boat taken with the PL3. Okay. This is the same one. Okay. Again, very pinky blue on the XZ1. Okay. And again, look at the noise in the sky. Okay. It's not too bad. Okay, it's a creditable performance for such a small sensor. Okay, although the XZ1's noise gets quite bad when you go above 400 ISO. Okay, but look, that's relatively smooth there. Okay, and it is getting darker, as you can see. All of these pictures, by the way, have just, they were taken in RAW, but they've had the auto thing applied to them in aperture and some horizon straightening, okay? And they've all had that regardless of, you know, of camera model. Okay. The last time I went out and did a comparison video between the XZ1 and the old Olympus E500 DSLR, I had some issues trying to take some photographs of some flags, so I tried again here. Okay, that's not a bad rendition from the EPL3. It's not particularly bad at all on the XZ1. Okay. Yeah, you've just got this dramatic difference in colour. Okay, very similar focal lengths we used as well. Not exactly the same because the electronic zoom on the XZ1 doesn't tell you what focal length you're using. But I tried to get them fairly similar. And yeah, a very dramatic colour thing. Okay, I suppose we're slightly overexposed here because it's gone black. Oh my god, it's black, it's dark. I must open up a stop or two. Okay, whereas the evaluative metering on the EPL3 has done a much better job of assessing the scene as it was. Okay. Again, the last time I photographed buildings and did a comparison video with it, the E500 with the 14 to 54 lens that I was talking about earlier, i.e. 28 to 108 in 35mm film terms, could actually take photographs of buildings with some distortion, but it wasn't too dramatic. Okay. The XZ1 is just, you know, it's distorting all over the place. It's not quite the same angle here. This is the EPL3, okay, and the lines are, you know, fairly straight. In the XZ1, you've got one building in the background toppling towards you and one going further away, okay. So if you're into taking photographs of buildings, I would suggest the EP range over the XZ1, okay, over any compact really, because you know, the sensors in compacts and the lenses in compacts are just nowhere near as good as the interchangeable lens systems. So yeah, okay. This is 800 ISO. This is 400 ISO. No, yes, that's the right way around. Yeah, and as you can see, at 800 ISO, noise levels are pretty comparable to 400 ISO on the XZ1. Okay, and finally, to finish off with, this is Haley's photograph. It's a 3.1 megapixel photograph taken on an iPhone 5 of me taking photographs. I did ditch my tripod very early on in the proceedings. I find them very cumbersome to take out, okay? And when you've got someone with you as well, you feel a bit self-conscious kind of using them, okay? Yeah, it's quite a nice picture of me there. You know, an iPhone kind of like doesn't really cut it really, or really, I don't think any mobile phone cuts it against even a nice compact like the XF1. Okay, I only make this video really, and perhaps I should have explained this at the beginning when you hadn't fallen asleep, but I only make this video really because both of these cameras are at least 2 to 3 years old. Okay, and now you can find them at very similar prices to each other on Amazon or eBay. Okay, or other online stores are available too, I suppose. And so if you're after really good results from a camera but haven't got pots of dosh to spend, I mean, I use my scratch cards to buy the PL3. I save up winning scratch cards, and it does make sense to go for the larger sensor, okay, on something like an EPL3, okay, or other mirrorless cameras which are also available over a compact, okay. Compacts, they have the size advantage, but certainly in terms of image quality, they're really, they're chalk and cheese. Okay, the only thing, and it's actually quite a big thing, that is against the EPL3 is, and you'll hear it if you look at my New York State of Mind video, which I uploaded earlier on today, is this horrible, horrible, horrible whirring noise in the background, and I haven't the faintest idea what it can be. Okay. Olympus, you really need to sort that out, because it just makes video recording of any kind impossible. Okay, yes, there are some slight image stabilization issues if you switch the image stabilization on the video and leave it on a tripod, because then still subjects sometimes appear to be moving because it's confusing the image stabilization. But that is minor in comparison to that blinking racket that it's making in the background. Okay, and I would refer you to that video if you want to see exactly what I mean. Okay, because other people have put up EPL3 video footage, but they've always taken off the soundtrack and put music in the background or something, which doesn't highlight what's going on there. Okay, if anybody knows how you can stop the EPL3 from making that noise, I'd be eternally grateful if they could tell me. All right, but as a camera to take photographs with, which is what cameras are supposed to do, again, we have this kind of thing where we just want feature, 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 feature. Okay, and sometimes a camera is for taking photographs with. If you want to take videos, I would suggest using a video camera. The same as a mobile phone is for taking, phone calls and text messages. It doesn't need to have perhaps quite the same, number of gizmos on there. Certainly not a camera. Anyway, I've gone on too long now, but yeah, thanks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.